What's up, guys? This is part 2 of things that helped me stop smoking after 10 years of doing it. Not only doing it for 10 years, but heavily doing it for 10 years. If you haven't watched part 1, go ahead and go do that and come back here. I highly recommend it. But yeah, I'm just going to get right into it. So the third thing that really helped me to stop is a book called A New Earth by Eckhart Tolle. I'm sure some of you have heard of it. I read it about 7 years ago, and there's a part in it that I still remember. So I'm gonna read this part from it called Addictions, and I'm gonna post it as well, so you can just pause and read it yourself, or you can listen to me. Addictions. A long-standing compulsive behavior pattern may be called an addiction, and an addiction lives inside of you as a quasi-entity or sub-personality, an energy field that periodically takes you over completely. It even takes over your mind, the voice in your head, which then becomes the voice of addiction. It may be saying, "You've had a rough day, you deserve a treat. Why deny yourself the only pleasure that is left in your life?" And so, if you are identified with the internal voice due to lack of awareness, you find yourself walking to the fridge and reaching for that rich chocolate cake. At other times, the addiction may bypass the thinking mind completely, and you suddenly find yourself puffing on a cigarette or holding a drink. How did this get into my hand? Taking the cigarette out of the packet and lighting it, or pouring yourself a drink, were actions performed in complete unconsciousness. If you have a compulsive behavior pattern such as smoking, overeating, drinking, TV watching, internet addiction, or whatever it may be, this is what you can do. When you notice the compulsive need arising in you, stop and take 3 conscious breaths. This generates awareness. Then for a few minutes be aware of the compulsive urge itself as an energy field inside of you. Consciously feel that need to physically or mentally ingest or consume a certain substance or the desire to act out some form of compulsive behavior. Then take a few more conscious breaths. After that, you may find that the compulsive urge has disappeared for the time being, or you may find that it still overpowers you, and you cannot help but indulge or act it out again. Don't make it into a problem. Make the addiction part of your awareness practice in the way described above. As awareness grows, addictive patterns will weaken and eventually dissolve. Remember how to catch any thoughts that justify the addictive behavior. Sometimes with clever arguments as they arise in your mind. Ask yourself, who is talking here? And you will realize the addiction is talking. As long as you know that, as long as you know you are as long as you know that, as long as you are present as the observer of your mind, it is less likely to trick you into doing what it wants. Yeah, so there's this part that I remember after 7 years. I don't know if I gathered it from this or if it's from a different part of the book, but I just remember around the age of 21, kind of around the same age like I was mentioning in the last video, I started becoming aware of how I felt as I was smoking, or as I was gearing up to smoke. So I knew for me that I still wanted to act it out. So I went ahead and still acted it out, but I became aware of how I was feeling while doing it. Becoming aware of, like, when I started to do it, when I was about to do it, I had feelings of guilt come up about doing it, and I would kind of feel like ashamed that I even needed to do it at all. But the key is I didn't judge myself for these things. I was just aware of it. I still wanted to do the thing. I still felt like I needed it. Everything has a time and a place and a purpose, and I know that. So yeah, I still felt like I wanted to do it, so I just became aware of how I was feeling. How did I feel while doing this thing, while I'm about to do this thing? And I didn't like that I the way I felt. So yeah, that's really important, but don't judge yourself. Try out the method that Eckhart Tolle talks about, like taking some deep breaths and kind of observing it. But yeah, the key is to don't judge yourself, just observe how you feel. And this will help also in other parts of your life. You'll start observing how you feel, watching certain content, or, being friends with someone on Facebook that is always posting negative stuff. How do you feel while reading this stuff? And you'll start feeling more sensitively, if that makes sense. So yeah, that's number 3. The book called A New Earth. Highly recommend reading some of it if you feel called. And I'm gonna move on to number 4, which is arguably the most important thing. It's a meditation called the Twin Hearts Meditation, and it was created by Grandmaster Choa Kok Sui, and it is taught by many other of his disciples and many other pranic healing teachers. So I've been studying pranic healing for the last little bit over a year, and I've known about it for about 2 years. And so it's a meditation, and I remember around the time when I first met who I now consider my mentor, we were walking on a trail. We lived in the same apartment complex, and we had a trail behind the apartments, and I didn't know about the meditation yet, and we were walking on the trail, and then it gets to this part where there's a bridge, and it goes over the creek, and there's this little concrete thing you can sit on above the creek. So we get to this part, and we sit on the little concrete part, and he shows me this meditation. And we only do a few minutes of this meditation. Essentially, it's a meditation where you bless the earth, you bless every being, every human on earth. And it's usually about 15 minutes. Master Ko has hundreds of videos about it. Anyways, so we do this meditation. We only do a few minutes of it, and it's really powerful. We all have a spiritual cord, and that connects us to God and the universe and the higher part of ourself. And the meditation expands your spiritual cord, so more divine energy can flow down into you. And while you are doing this meditation, because of the energy is coming through your spiritual cord and you're blessing the earth, it's also acting as a fire hose to blast out all the negative energy that's sitting on top of your aura that we don't need anymore. So it's cleansing and purifying your chakras, your aura, your energy field, and that's part of the reason why a few days later I decided that I never want to smoke again. I remember I took my last dab, I took it, and my body completely rejected it. I was pretty much having a panic attack, and I just knew that I never wanted to do this again. So definitely Twin Hearts Meditation if you want to stop smoking. I cannot guarantee you that it's going to work that way for everyone. This is my path. This is what's worked for me. But I guarantee that it's definitely going to help you in some way. At least try it a few times before you decide if it's for you or not. And if you're watching this and you don't have addiction issues, you can still definitely do this meditation. This is not just for people that have addiction issues. This is an incredibly powerful meditation that's going to help you in your day-to-day life. It's going to help you be a better person, make better decisions. It's going to allow you to feel more clear-headed. And one more thing I want to talk about real quick while I have a few more seconds is another... I'm going to put up this picture. It's from another book called The Eye of the Eye by Dr. Hawkins. There's a little Q&A part at the end of the book, and this is one of the questions. So I want you to focus on the second to last sentence. And read the whole thing, but just know that you can have an expansion of consciousness at any moment in time. Anyways, thank you for watching. If you made it this far, God bless, and I really hope this helped. Let me know in the comments if it did. Thank you so much. Good luck on your journey.